What's up, gang? I'm out here chilling with my dog, with my sister dog, getting some sun. I've been trying to tell people, they be like, it's about to get cold, it's about type of season. I'm like, bruh, it's not getting cold no time soon. You might feel the manipulation that was manipulated from the heat because you need heat to even create cold. That's just period. Even if it's falling in different states of matter, that shit's coming from heat. Okay? Even your fridge, your AC is coming from heat, a spark of charge. Okay? And this energy that's coming down is actually a spark of charge because it's sparking the cells, the atoms within and outside of you, which are your cells. Especially when it's tying to you, your nervous system connects to the nature. The output is nature and the input is you. Okay? So I'm not gonna be on here long because I really just wanted to make it short. I just wanted to say things is changing and the world can be world and you can get caught up back into the world just because you need to get things done, but never allow fear to be the reason why you did so. Because fear also manifests as ways too. It's not always just the good things. There's also the bad things that you try to run away from. And that's only because it's an attachment, which will bring your ass right back to this realm, okay? Them attachments. It's just like if you was about to leave your body and you was like, oh shit, and got scared, you're most likely gonna pop back to your body. Or if you did something in fear, called out Jesus or something, you're most likely just gonna come back. It's the same shit. You feel me? Fear is a blockage to awareness. All your chakras are pretty much these energies, right? These 7 energies that's ties to even more. Just like how you have 7 alphabets that pretty much have tri-solar systems. And they're not really tied to the 19 keys, but it's attached to the 19 keys, okay? So you have your 19 keys and then you have 7 alternates. Okay, them 7 alternates is like your chakras. And 7 is attached to these 19 keys. So it's like it connects you to different realms as your chakras or stargates start to open up. And when it requires a lot of UV, that's why you should get your sun. That's why you should be grounding, because to receive the consciousness, you gotta operate like a plant. Okay, not no plant like some bot or industry plant. It's pretty much like that, but a reflection, like where it came from type shit. Cause shit's getting weird, and I keep telling people like I haven't really been on here, but I've been telling people like in my neighborhood, I'm like, yo, y'all need to start fasting and shit. People can drink and everything. I might get too turned sometimes. But the thing about me is if I ever do a low vibrational thing, I alchemize it naturally. I don't be thinking like, oh, I'm about to alchemize this when I drink this on some low. It just happens. And my consciousness doesn't go down, it actually goes up. Not saying it's an excuse to drink, because really I don't even like drinking no more. I already know they got a lot of mixings and stuff within that. But probably be on a wine or something. But you can't even trust most of this wine unless you're gonna spend some bread or make your own wine. Because really, if you just let berries and grapes, just like ferment a little bit, it turns into like a soda, but it turns into like a wine. It gets real carbonated. And it can either make you feel higher or a little intoxicated, like 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 them kombuchas. Can't remember what that shit called. I used to drink it a lot. But yeah, when you drink those from the grocery store, they say don't operate no vehicle while you're drinking that. That's why, because it's low key wine. They're just not gonna tell you that. Okay, it's fermented. So look, I told y'all about the Noah flood, right? There's probably some more going on because this portal is actually still open. When I give y'all these dates, I gave y'all these dates. July 27th, which is the Lionsgate portal, started opening up into August 12th, they say, but I believe it's August 19th. That's when that that Lionsgate portal is open. Now, October 27th was the next one, okay? Before July 27th, you had April 27th going into May. And then before that, you had January 27th going into February 12th around the Super Bowl, okay? Just like the election, just like the Lionsgate portal, mostly be dealing with like them niggas in UK, I think. Or you just gotta peep game. But all these gates, when I give you these time frames, I want y'all to pay attention to nature and what's going on, because they're actually doing witchcraft during these times because a lot of energy is harnessing on the planet. But you have to realize this energy that's coming to the planet is your energy. So really it's a manipulation of you dealing with the moon, because that's what the moon does. Is it fucks with the water frequency and the planet frequency, okay? The sun deals with the atoms frequency and the air. So really just your atoms. I mean, it could deal with the waters too, but it's dealing with the atoms in the water, the plasma, okay? Really all elements work together, really reason why they can even manipulate it. But let's get back to point. So I was saying through with the 360 science that represent the sun actually being a fucking simulator, and the DNA is picking up on the frequency, the harmonic frequency that's come from the sun to you, is actually repairing your DNA. And if you're eating right under the sun, is helping repair the DNA, which helps repair the memory. And when you repair the memory, it's like a reincarnation, because reincarnation was just the memory of self, not some, it's just the memory. It's just like I have my mom's memory within my genetics. I have family lines, my past lives more energetically, but it gets deeper when you're connected to a whole lineage. And then it gets deeper when you're connected to this whole realm, because it's a brain simulation. You say sun simulation, but it's a brain simulation at the end of the day, because everything's reflected off the brain, or the Holy Trinities. The Holy Trinity represents the brain. It represents the body. It represents everything, a cycle within the cycle, the 3, 6, and the 9. But my theory is a 3, 6, 9, 3 being the 33 of the 6 and the 9, because the 360, which is 3 plus 6 equals 9, that 360 actually represents your aura of light. The 369 is the loop, okay? So the only reason I introduced the extra 3 is because the 3 was a 12, which represents 10, 11, 12 going into a higher state. There's no number greater than 9, so when you're repeating at a 10, 11, 12, you're going into a higher state. So what I call that, I call it the rebirth, okay? I'm only saying what I call it and shit because nobody taught me this on this realm, and that's facts, okay? So now, as in October 27th, that represented 2343 on this simulation timeline. Okay, so the thing is about your DNA and the realm. Okay, we have the universe system, then you have the Unix system. The universe system is, the universe, natural shit. The Unix system is a replica of how the universe works. It's like the AI version. Okay, it's a replica of how it works, and it picks up the same way. So when these frequencies is hitting the plane, and when they have these generators and all types of shit, it's probably like over 2,000 all over the planet that's tracking shit like this, satellites pretty much. That picks up on the frequency as if it was that year. Your DNA is picking up on the frequency as the hertz being that year, dealing with your DNA memory. So as the Kundalini rises and get exposed to your DNA and exposed to the Unix system, it starts to play out. Why you think everything look plotted? Because we're actually interacting with clones and reptilians and shit. Why does everything seem so predicted to the point where I can tell you when the AI was going to drop? I told you at the beginning of this year, and when we crossed this timeline, it was the Mandela effect. I said it before it happened. I said this Mandela effect is going to happen in January 27th portal, because that's when us being in 2024 as a measurement, as a checkpoint, it went past 2024. And then the next settlement checkpoint was 2070. Okay. Since then, that's when the Mandela jumped. Even Siri and Alexa was telling you what year it really was, all types of shit. So it matched up to my theory. I'm the only one saying this. But I mean, other people are saying it, but they're not saying it the way I'm saying it. So I have my theory when it comes to this, which I see is real. Well, that I see makes a lot of sense. So this simulation, right, from the sun. This is why they try to block it to interrupt, because through these four phases, it's like the four faces of the dragon. And it happens every 3 months. Reason why I say January 27th, going into February 12th or 19th. They say 12th for the Lionsgate portal, but it's like four alternates of the Lionsgate portal a year. So I'm going to say, I like to say the 19th, but just to keep it Google wise, I'm going to say the 12th. Reason why you had this super bold when the planet is denoting into a higher state. Every 3 months, it denotes into a higher state. Why do you think it feels so hot right now when it was just feeling cold? They can't really manipulate this shit without fully clouding everywhere to where it just seems like it's not real. That's the only way. Like in movies, when it was just straight clouds, no sun, no life or nothing. That's how they will have to do it, and most likely are going to do it unless we put a stop to it. Because people just think this is a fucking game at the end of the day. So we just give consent to them to do what the fuck they want. And then we be wondering why we don't have this and that and the third, because you haven't done your self-mastery. And I'm not going to act like I have. It's a knowing. Now it just has to be a doing. So we have to do what we know. Even when it doesn't seem clear, when you're blind in darkness and shit, you have to do it. Because just like these real IDs, I fucked around, got one too. I didn't mean to, but it kind of happened like that. I didn't think I was, but it happened. But one thing I do know for sure is before December, before Christmas, really right now, if you have the money, like me, I ain't gonna sit here and stunt like I got the money, because I don't. And it's sad. because I'm one hustling ass nigga. But I've been battling. It's been spiritual warfare, you feel me? And the X energy, the feminine energy, been rising me back up without me asking. But at the same time, it's like, if I can't do it, I don't have any problem telling you, you should do it. My 2 cents always been valid. My downfall's been not listening to myself, and sometimes females. But that just comes right back to not listening to myself, so it's really not them. But this is a warning. Okay, so I said October 27th represented 2343 Noah's flood AD time, okay, or BC, because they keep low-key waiting for the Christ to pop up, but this really, they're waiting for one person to claim this shit that has legal guardianship of this land, pretty much, by blood. Because our DNA, when your DNA matches the land of the whole Americas, just because your DNA is actually plant-based mostly, they can't do shit. Even UK doesn't have sovereignty over here like that. They just confuse the masses so much that you think they're in power and they're not. We're in power. You already say we pay, the government does everything off our money, so they work for us, right? So why is everyone working for them if they work for us? You know, as a citizen, you got a number. That's an EIN number, okay? Employee identification number, okay? So when it comes to workers, before then it was called slaves, okay? You're tied to the operation, okay? If you don't fuck with ops, then you need to renounce your royal oats. For real, because when this reset is going to happen in December, and if it doesn't happen in December, it's going to happen in March for sure, because March is actually December, okay? That's why I say don't get caught up in these dates I give y'all all the time. Them portals, official. Because even if you was to go 3 months back, 3 months later, it will still be an alternate of that. That's just the 4 phases of the dragon. The 4 faces of the dragon is the 4 phases. And those, every 3 months, it denotes into a higher state, reason why it's hot as fuck right now, okay? There will not be a winter. If it is, it's only going to be natural disasters. That's the only way. It's the only way. Other than that, nigga, it is going to be hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. Reason why people's going to feel like they're in hell, because of all them metals in their bodies and shit like that. This is not a joke. They can target you from satellites from far away when you're in certain government buildings. Or it really, majority is in government buildings like courthouses and shit, because they try to target me. But it just doesn't work. Their frequency is too low for mine. They know that. And I know that. It's to the point I know a lot of shit that's going on. I can say a lot of stuff, but are you going to believe me, or are you going to think I'm just doing this for clout? I don't do this for attention. I really don't like attention, but start seeing that I need it. Not making it my main focus, but I really don't like attention. So to explain me and why I'm on here, I don't like attention. So me being on YouTube trying to say what I'm saying, that's a reason. Yeah, I needed help. I needed some support. I need some money. But I never had a problem getting money. If anything, this was showing me duality. Really wasn't karma. I mean, karma is just you not listening to yourself, but the duality shows you that there's always peace and light and darkness. So the way to break the loop is not to fall in frequency when you're going through a situation that you already seen before. You feel me? Most of this shit just re-loop anyways. So it's like you can't repeat the same energy and expect the same results, because then you're gonna start realizing what alchemy is when you start breaking your loops. Because when you're in a peace state of mind, none of that bullshit is gonna bother you. Now you're aware of what's going on, because that's the whole point. It's awareness. When you're clogged by these detachments, your awareness is off. And when it deals with awareness, it deals with connectivities and connections and protection. So when you're traveling other places and realms, and when you're in other places here, things is more different when you're more aware, because you're not attached to a certain energy that got you thinking about some shit that don't really matter. Like, yeah, you can get mad and shit, which they call human, with these emotions, but most of these emotions have you feeling like this isn't life, okay? And a lot of people energies is getting manipulated. This is why I tell y'all these dates. From right now to the 12th, like all my court dates is on portal days. I've been getting continuance for discharging my firearm. It's a low key, where the cops to come over here, and they flipped the whole shit around on me. So they're trying to charge me to where I can't get no job, and I don't have no record. I couldn't even DoorDash because it was a pending charge. I had a warrant this whole year. And what was I doing this whole year? Talking to y'all. You feel me? So it's like, I just been here. I can't change who I am. This is just me now. I could be going through the worst shit, and I'm still gonna hop on here, and I'm gonna speak to y'all and tell y'all what's going on from my point of view. The things niggas not seeing, how this is a simulation, and we are revealing it to the masses, to the matter, to the ether, to the ops. Why? Because it's called Greek hospitality, known as Xenia, which is the feminine aspect of the word Xeno, which means gift of Zeus. So just like all these platforms and shit, that's part of Xenia. We're just telling them what we remember, what they don't know. And I mean, a lot of shit they do know because they have access to Akashi records. And really, this 3693 or the 3600 years is just the Akashi records dealing with this realm, okay? And the different formations it went through and changes and stuff like that, and different lifetimes of you being here. But the thing is, you can change that in righteousness in the present, because in the present you're going through these loops and cycles, which are those past times and shit just recycling. But the thing is, we are at 2343. So that's 4 plus 8, that's 12 days. So that would bring us at 24:45 on the timeline. No. I'm sorry. 23:43. That would bring us at 23:55, something like that. So 23:55. That means we have 45 days to a reset. Why? Because 45 days plus that equals 2400. 2400. The thing about years and time is a measurement of energy cycles. And these times is really ratios, and the years is really ratios and fractions and all types of shit like that. But my theory, the years is hertz. Okay? And as these hertz hit the body, right, you have these sunspots. These sunspots hit at different formations all over the realm. And as they hit, they start to align parallels. Okay? When these parallels connect, now you're making sacred geometry. So when these sacred geometry is forming from these sunspots that's hitting the lands, pyramids, and everything, especially underwater, kind of like 144 East 0 North is the Pacific Ocean, but that's um, west, supposedly. But when you put it around a 360, 144 is before 180, which is before your south. So it's really southeast. Okay, so that's off topic, but just for example, you have your 144, your 72 degrees, your 77 degrees, which is like the Indian Seas, which is where the pole's shifting to. 72 and 77 degrees, the shifting to India, I think. Okay, so then you have your 222, which is the Apple Central in Germany. You have your 48, your 46, 44s. That's the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so say it hits these different points at degrees all over, just like geometry. It hits all these sacred degrees, these different points, and it forms sacred geometry. Like every 3 years, it makes a Merkaba. Okay, and January it started another one, but that starts like that's pretty much like a shape on top of another shape on top of another shape, or configurations like tetrahedron and dodecadron and all that shit. We're dealing with the 7, and that's trying to form the 8th shape. And that forms by April 27th, the 8th shape. We're dealing with the 7 configuration, right? Right now. But the thing is, you can go higher. You just have to be treating your body like you're trying to go higher. You have to make it make sense. How do I keep my blood flowing? How do I keep a charge, physically and mentally? Because if your mental's not there, your physical won't. If your physical's not there, it's gonna bother your mental. And it only is gonna bother your mental when you're not putting the right shit into your bodies. And that can go off of attachments, because you can look at yourself in the mirror and drop your frequency depending on the stupid shit you think about. That's not you. You're not the flesh anyways, but this flesh is your vehicle, okay? Which you have the right to travel anywhere on this bitch as a sovereign, okay? So let's get back to the point. Yeah, 45 days into a reset. They started to issue these real IDs. I got one on accident. But I suggest people look into getting a state ID as soon as possible. Why? Because a state ID is gonna give you this number, and you need to put it on a passport. Not saying get a state ID federal card, because that's dealing with the feds. The feds is the ops. Even sometimes they're not the ops, to be honest, but 75% of the time they're ops, especially when it comes to law. They're operating in law of the sea, not law of the land. So a lot of these jurisdictions and all type of shit just not solid, 'cause there's some reptilians. You have to realize we're really these reptilians, grays, Palladians, clones. Really, it might be all the motherfucking races that came together, because when you look at politics, you see some of our own, you see some of your own people type shit, and it's like a whole mixture, right? That's tying back to the beings that got manipulated too. So it's like, like double Donald Trump, he's a double agent, but a lot of these beings that y'all think so high power are double agents too. That's why you have to find balance. You have to be the 3, not the 12. The 12 might seem like a higher number, but there's no number higher than 9. The 12 is just the 3 showing that the split has came together to form that higher energy. Because the whole reason of the pyramid or the triangle being the symbol is just representing you denoting into a higher state. Because if left and right don't come together, there's no growth. There's just interruptions in your growth. Okay, so be the 3, not the 12. The 12 showed you division, but it was all representing one energy. Even your ABCs is representing one energy. If you want to learn about how it works, look up the ABCs in sales, uh, biology, chemistry, and when they throw certain names out, you start to click the dots because you read about it. Because really, it's just talking about you at the end of the day. Everything here is talking about you. That's how you know it's a brain simulation. How manifestation and everything works. It's a brain simulation. Meaning we plugged up somewhere. Not to say that to get people scared, just so you're aware of what's going on. Because from what I heard of my whole life, a death experience, your whole life flashes between your eyes. So in my eyes, that's dealing with past lifetimes and all types of that shit too. So this is really like a death experience. Reason why there's a Death Star manipulation, which is the moon manipulation. And I've seen the moon, and yes, it looks like a Death Star. Without the aura or the glow with it, it's a big orb. It's black and grayish. It looks fake. It looks 2D-ish. Look like a 2D, 3D figure in real life, just sitting right there. It's weird. The closest I have to it is the Beaver Moon video. But nah, y'all get that state citizen passport before it's too late. Because the thing about that real ID, it says you're issued into federal buildings now. You can walk into federal buildings. Most of the people in the world is not walking into those type of buildings unless they have some type of issue. Okay, I mean, airport is one of those type of buildings, then that's one of the type of buildings. But I'm talking about like courthouses and shit like that. I feel like that's the only way moving forward they're gonna be able to process you because you gave consent to citizenship during this new election. Then they had bills already passed, so everything can work flowly. I mean, can work with the agenda. It's just like Biden passed a whole bunch of shit just for when Trump gets here now, and he can operate and use that, and it won't make it look like he did it, but at the same time, it's going to be to his use. It's just like when Obama came, they already had the Obamacare set up. He put his name on it, and it made it seem like he did it. They're just pawns, okay? But I'm gonna say this again. I'm going through spiritual warfare, so there's a lot of things that I know I could have did, but they're trying to interfere. I don't do witchcraft. I don't do none of that shit. I actually know how to block them naturally. It's just when you're not aware, because you be aware all the time, but when you're not aware, you can see yourself going backwards sometimes, okay? So the whole point is to stay aware, keep your chakras cleansed and open because that keeps your awarenesses open. Don't go back into fear because that's going to make a blockage of everything that's going on. And mostly you're not going to do that if you stay on a plant-based diet. Promise you. A lot of anxiety came from the animals and the food that you were consuming. Okay? So when a lot of your anxiety don't make sense, first you have to realize, where did I start feeling like this? When did I start using this emotion? When did I start using this concept? You have to go back to your child. If it was TV, if it was someone else, that's not your perspective. That's not you. So that's like the perspective or the consciousness is like a spirit. When you take on a different perspective that doesn't match as your heart, operating from your heart and higher, that still aligns with your heart and lower, then now if you pick up another perspective, that's picking up another spirit. So when they say it's like he has a different, he's like a whole different person, different spirit. It's that perspective. Good moods, bad moods, good spirits, bad spirits, right? Your moods deal with these attachments that you were taught. So master senseis, they're not really emotional, right? Because it fucks with the thought. And the thought is the thought, remember, the manifestation. So attachments, which are pretty much attachments to your ex, mentally, physically, spiritually, that's why you have to detach, because it's energetically a blockage. Then it becomes physically a blockage and mentally a blockage, which is physics. Okay? Because this is a metaverse, y'all. Y'all was wondering if the metaverse will ever evolve. We're in it. It's just we were back on the timeline. Now we're going back to our normal timeline, meaning normal energies. But this is something you have to be ready for, because these older timelines is going to be right back attached to hell. Okay? And your frequency is the key to open those doors. So if you only have a key to hell and you don't have a key to heaven, then your consciousness is just going to be trapped in hell. Make sense? These frequencies is the keys that you need to open the doors. It's like your chakra has a key, just like the piano has the keys. Same shit. How they always deal with the M, which represents the magnetism. Same shit. understand the sun and to understand law, you have to understand music. You have to understand the angel that was over music and why. Because he was enlightened to the frequencies. Okay? When you're enlightened to the frequencies, you're enlightened of yourself, and now you can use your enlightenment for good or evil. Because you're always manipulating energy, even when you're not thinking. Just you breathing is a manipulation of energy. And now we're mutating, if you like it or not. A loss of cell or a gain of a cell is a mutation. Period. Things are changing. I just want you to stay in the frequency of I am everything and everything is me, to have an understanding, like contentment, finding peace in situations that's seem dark, just like shadow work. Shadow work and fasting, if you take away what you thought about it at first and how it's like momentarily, think about it as a principle for your everyday life. Because then that helps you become and focus on the things that's needed. It's just like Morpheus was telling Neo, the lady in the red dress, those are worldly things that can make you distracted. It's pretty much like they're agents sometimes when they're not awakened, because they allow that frequency to boom. It's like when you come awakened, it's like now you seeing how these entities is using other people around you and all types of shit. Shit gets real, but you're not tripping. Don't never feel like you're tripping, because once you start feeling like you're tripping, frequency drop. Now you're back to that other timeline. You're not seeing the future or the present. Because, like, once we get to the 13th year, that's going to represent Orion shooting off his arrow. Okay? And after Orion, it's going to represent a new timeline. So by 2026, 2027, they're trying to do some shit to stop that from happening, because that's when the 9 ether settles. We're in the cycle of the 7 ether settling, the 7th seal. The 7th seal doesn't settle till April. We're in the cycle. And a lot of people say we're in the 8, but no, we're not. The only people that's in the 8 is on the people in the new lands. We are in the Mu lands, the Merlands, the Mu lands, Maryland, the Virgin lands. Okay? Not the new lands, but the Virgin lands. Okay? The real Virgin Islands. Okay? The Mu lands. See, Mu and Nu is still tied to the moon, because it was at one point tied to the third sun. We're in the process of the third sun recreating itself. And it's going to take 3 years. Even though it's there, it's going to take 3 years to fully be like, boom, type shit. We got 2 that's really about to start showing even more. Just when they said them 2 moons, that's how you know they're showing even more. Because the moon is just the backside of the sun. Okay? It's manipulating the backside of the sun, which is red. Okay? So, yeah, because suns really, they come together as one light. It's just like your binary systems, they come together and form one light. That's how that one light was created, from the 1 and the 2. It's just like your brain. Your brain is a binary system. Your testicles is a binary system. Your pecs is a binary system. Your hands is a binary system. Your feet is a binary system. And it creates the energy, which is the seed, the gamma. Okay? But when those three form together, the light's going to be brighter. As you can see, the light just gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter from the sun. Seem like it's getting closer. The UV is just getting, intensity is getting higher. The UV index be at like a 13, a 9 to a 13 now on the East Coast. Most of the time, the East Coast would get cold during the winter, but now it's going back to a tropic. It's a tropic zone. It's a subtropic zone. So really, the East Coast is supposed to be a tropical ass place, meaning that it's supposed to be 77 degrees pretty much every day, with the UV index making it feel like it's hotter. But 77 degrees is like the basic temperature of this realm. The light makes it feel like it's 90 degrees. But the only reason it's going to feel like that is because of the toxins that's in your body. Reason why I say 360 fast, you need to get through the whole year and don't renege. If you do, you get a picture, you fill that picture up. I don't know what's wrong, niggas. You blend that picture, let it cool, keep the fiber inside of it. Don't just make it a straight juice. You have to keep the fiber in it if you want to poop all that shit out. Because it's juice, it's like water, juice, fiber. And fibers, when you mix it back in, that's going to help you poop it out. The shit that's in your stomach, your gut, your sacral, and your root. Clean out that area. You have to clean out the solar plexus too, because that's where the red blood cells actually begin to die out, and that's where they begin to reproduce itself in your solar plexus. Okay? When you get fevers and shit like that, that's why. Man, your sodium channels is blocking your solar plexus, because, and that deals with your skin and your plasma. You have to keep that clean, okay? And then all of it's going to start making sense when all 7 is in line with each other. It's kind of like our solar system. But what happens when it's more aligned? That sun becomes more illuminated. Just like the 6 planets got aligned in June, like I said was. I said, what is 7D? What denotes 7D? When 6 planets align with each other. Those are 3 binary systems. 3 binary systems starts to create, no, those are 2 binary systems, which creates 2 lights. Because, no, I'm tripping. 6 planets will be 3 binary systems, because 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 binary system creates 3 lights, okay? This is why I'm saying this is the beginning of the 3rd sun beginning to pop up. And they're going to try to manipulate that from happening with the moon 2026, 2027. I made a short with Jose Consciousness. He was saying that NASA was trying to do some time date or give the moon a time zone, because they've been listening to me. Okay? That's how I know accurately, subconsciously, however you want to put it. I know that's what they're trying to do. Because the 7, 8, 9 as a 3-year process represents the 3rd sun. And that also represents the 7, the 8, and 9 ether, the density, so on and so on a physical state. Because you can, like, say 2020, that's when the 1,444 hertz hit, which dealt with the 4D frequency. Anything with that was dealing with your crown and higher. So people started to go higher and started to see, which ended ended up being what people call the 5D and higher. He was revealing the timeline to the ops and to yourself, the consciousness, to the cells that's in the body. So the more people remember, the more changes in the body. This is the body. This air, the atoms, that's the blood. The waters, you have your ground waters, your seas, your rivers. It's like veins, your parallels, your energy lines. Just like in your body, just like in the body. But when you're looking at it as a separation, now you're back to the brain, the split. There's everything's a trinities, bro. So when you think there's you and nature is two different things, there's really one nervous system. So if you want to up this frequency, start upping the frequency in your body by you. Yeah, the planet can help you. Sometimes you have to help the planet. You can't be all left-sided or right-sided too much, because now you're not thinking, you're not seeing. You're not seeing. And plus, at the end of all this other shit, there's so many distractions. People are really gonna shift, because the air is changing, which will allow them to. Even you, even me. The air is changing. You know what happens when the air changes in frequency? The atoms. I just said nature is your body. So if it's happening in nature, the cells, the atoms duplicating, more lights coming in, what do you think is going on within you? Whatever is going on outside of you is going on within you. It's just like with all the shit that you're trying to run from are attachments in your body, well, to the X. And I learned how to detach, but when you go back into the world and you try to cut shit off like this, it wasn't me trying to cut it off. It's just I didn't have no one around me on that type of, wave. Then I didn't really have too many people on here listening. And then I'm with my family, and they're not on that shit neither. So it's like I dropped my own frequency by that. But something I learned was it's permanent. So you can't really drop your frequency. You're only gonna drop your frequency from the things that you know that would. But then you're gonna understand as God consciousness, you can't really fall off. You just need to understand who you are at this point. Your frequency, if you done upped your shit, is permanent. So if you thought it went back down, no, it didn't. You're just probably eating the wrong shit. Get back right, because you feel this heat. I mean, many people said this winter shit's done for, but if you've been on my channel and hearing the way I said it, I'm telling you, it's up, it's stuck, and it's going to keep rising. It's going to keep rising. It's going to keep rising. If it was any type of Arctic blizzard around the Ice Age, it's because they manipulated it and we allowed them to. Time is just to keep track. You keep track of energy with time, because energy is time. Okay? It's just time is the measurement. And 2400 sounds like a reset of the clock, even though it's supposed to be a year. It's just people not realizing that's the sun simulation thing. Okay, they have to plot and manipulate the energy as it goes through its natural occurrences. The Unix system is going to reset too because that's what it's set to. They took over our computer. We had AI, they took over it, and the only thing that's going to bring that computer back to us is us awakening our consciousness on this plane more than ever before. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the moon can't manipulate you if you know your own energy. So that means you can control them and the moon if you know your own energy, which is pretty much some high priestess shit. Don't fuck with me.